Trent Bradshaw, Brandon Rogers, Bradshaw Financial Planning, and Mind Your Money. Thank you for joining us for this market update. Today is September 20th, 2021. Brandon, I want to touch on a few things as far as the agenda today. Obviously, we've been seeing volatility. Volatility is ticking back up. Second, what we're going to be looking at is the current environment we're in. Has it changed? Stagflation or reflation? And you'll explain that a little bit. We'll talk about it. And then the last thing is, very important meeting this week. Fed meeting starting when? Tomorrow and Wednesday. Will they taper? Well, let's take a look. All right, let's jump right in. Let's talk about volatility. That was the first point we wanted to talk about. Brandon, you and I, when we look at the data, we really monitor volatility to kind of give us direction of where the emotion is as far as the market's concerned. Right. And right now, volatility has been ticking up from the mid-teens back into the low 20s at this point. Actually, this morning, obviously the market's down a pretty large sum, 400, 500 points. But ultimately, volatility is back up around 25. When volatility, or the CBOE volatility index, gets between 20 and 30, it's really in no man's land. We start to see, some wide moves on the downside, but also the upside as far as rebounds too. We call it the chop zone. So we'll see it go back and forth, and it's tough to make decisions at this point. You got to rely on the other data to kind of give you direction. Well, currently the other thing we want to touch on is, the environment we're in right now. We're still in stagflation. Stagflation itself obviously means higher inflation, lower growth, still very, very positive for largely capitalized corporations, technology, large cap growth. We'll have gold that may roll in this environment, which we currently have in the portfolio. But we're starting to see evidence of potentially reflation, which is growth ticking back up in the fourth quarter. If that were to occur based on the rate of change quarter over quarter, we could get more aggressive in the portfolios upon our reallocations. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've got the reallocations that we're going to be doing soon. It'll be on October 4th is what we've got planned right now. But we'll kind of wait and see what the data tells us to do at that point in time. Another big thing that we're looking at is as far as the Fed meeting are they going to do the tapering? Are they going to kind of speed that up? I mean, again, obviously the government's been printing money for a very long time now. It's talking about potentially slowing that down.
And when is that meeting? When are they doing it?
Tomorrow and the next day. So it's a two-day meeting. And so we'll see what they do. I mean, our opinion on that is basically they're probably not going to do it, especially with this recent volatility and what's going on in China at the moment. You don't need to pour gasoline on a fire, so to speak. So they'll probably just kind of keep things where they are now, and then maybe look at that towards the end of the year, maybe beginning of next year or so. But we'll have to wait and see what they decide.
Well, and that volatility we're seeing today is really wrapped around a company called Evergrande, or a corporation over in China, which is a large real estate developer. Basically, can they pay their debts? Yeah. And they're worried about that becoming a contagion globally. Again, we don't have local markets anymore. It becomes a global market. So if China has issues, obviously that's going to spill over to the other parts of the world. Right. That's why we're seeing that volatility tick up at this point. Right. Chances are, does Beijing step in and potentially bail them out? Well, it's what's happened over the last few years. Yeah. So why should we expect anything different? But we'll definitely keep an eye on that and make some decisions in regards to it. Yeah. But we definitely will be back with the portfolio updates as far as reallocations on October the 4th. If we have to make changes going forward prior to that date, obviously we'll be back with updates around surrounding that. Continue to watch us on social media. We'll bring you updates. Call us, send us an email, whatever you need with any questions. Be glad to answer those for you. Trent Bradshaw, Brandon Rogers, Bradshaw Financial Planning, and Mind Your Money. Hope you have a wonderful week.